by a distinguished residency at the affiliated hospital. He himself had made the final approval, together with the hospital's chief of staff, for her position at Mount Sinai. The fact that she turned out to be stunning was a bonus. She had perfect alabaster skin, brown doe eyes, and a gorgeous shade of naturally highlighted auburn hair, pulled back neatly in a bun behind her head. Rick tried to remain composed. "Speaking of our young patient, have you kept apprised of his status?"
"Of course," Jennifer replied. "I observed the operation from the upper gallery." "You have quite a way with words, Dr. Ross, not to mention with those expert hands." Rick flushed momentarily as he recalled his comments about Nurse Benson earlier in the operating room. He'd been so focused on the delicate task before him, he hadn't even noticed who was watching from observation deck. "Just trying to ease the tension in the operating theater, Dr. Austin." "I can imagine," smiled Jennifer. "And were you doing the same thing with that attractive nurse a few minutes ago?"
"Damn," thought Rick.
"This new endocrinologist has got me in her crosshairs."
"Of course," he replied matter-of-factly. "I always try to be amiable with everyone on my team."
"I'll bet. You must have quite a following."
"Normally, I try to precede my reputation whenever possible. I suppose it didn't work quite so well in this instance?"
"Never fear, Dr. Ross. Your reputation is undiminished in my eyes."
Jennifer was having fun with her obviously flustered colleague. "Well, in that case, please call me Rick."
"All right, Rick. And I'm officially Jennifer."
Jennifer extended her hand, and the two shook firmly. "I'm actually pleased we crossed paths today, Jennifer," Rick said, beginning to regain his composure. "There was another matter I wanted to discuss with you, besides Jason. Are you familiar with Eva Bronwyn's case?"
"Everyone knows Eva, the so-called Queen Bee," Jennifer remarked.
Eva Bronwyn was one of very few adult females specifically bred to carry on the bloodline, by virtue of her mature ovaries and fully functioning womb. It was a purely voluntary role, for which virtually no one volunteered, since passing through sexual maturity was recognized as a guaranteed death sentence. But queens were very generously rewarded by the state, and held a kind of unusual celebrity status among the general public. Eva's mother, and generations before them, had carried on the same tradition, so the family was considered royalty. The not-so-flattering appellation of Queen Bee referred to her unique status as sole propagator of the race, and her prodigious output of fertilized eggs.
"Did you want me to review her file?" Jennifer asked.
"Yes. She's my personal patient," Rick advised. "I see her from time to time in my Midtown office to monitor her general health. She's scheduled for another round of harvesting."
"Would you like me to prepare her next treatment?"
Jennifer knew that in order to maximize the Queen's productivity, she would require a special concentrated course of sex hormone injections at precise intervals in her reproductive cycle to induce the ovaries to produce a plentiful supply of eggs. These would then be fertilized from frozen stores of sperm, after which the embryos would be cryogenically saved for implementation as needed. "Yes, I think she'll like you very much, Jennifer," said Rick. "But whatever you do, don't bring up the Queen Bee thing. She's very sensitive about that."
"Of course. I'd never want to make her feel uncomfortable."
"Excellent. If you'd like to attend to Jason's immediate needs, I'll get back to you soon with more details on the timing for Eva's treatment." Rick breathed a sigh of relief. The hypophysectomy operation had been another stellar success, and he felt comfortable placing his special patient, Eva Bronwyn, in the capable hands of Jennifer Austin. Eva had an appointment with him at his private Park Avenue office in a couple of hours, and he decided to soak up some of the Indian summer sunshine by walking the 2 miles down Fifth Avenue to the south end of Central Park. Strolling slowly through the hospital's Guggenheim Pavilion, designed by the renowned architect I.M. Pei, he could feel